the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Good Monday evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 9. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Flanagan, and just in tonight at 9, President Biden will travel to Israel on Wednesday as the war with Hamas rages on now for the 10th day.
Yeah, so this is now considered the deadliest war for both sides, with more than 4,000 people killed. Thousands more are wounded or missing.
And more than 1 million people have fled their homes in the Gaza Strip as Israeli forces threaten a ground invasion aimed at taking down Hamas's leadership.
Meanwhile, the situation in Gaza is becoming more dire. Food and water supplies are dwindling for Palestinians, and hospitals warn they're on the verge of a collapse since Israel cut off water, fuel, and electricity in the wake of the Hamas attacks.
And Jewish groups organized a march through D.C. today. Protesters demanding President Biden call for a ceasefire in Gaza. The president has pledged unwavering support for Israel and its prime minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, both sides of the conflict, they're feeling the impact, making calls for peace more urgent than ever.
Yeah, and reporter Mariel Carbone joins us live in the studio. Mariel, you actually spoke to a local man who's been pushing for that for years.
Yeah, that's right. Jake Shapiro, he has spent the last 5 years working and living in Tel Aviv. He's only in the U.S. right now by chance. He was on vacation when the war broke out. Now, he says the fight for peace is more important than ever, and it all hinges on finding compassion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel quite helpless.
For Chevy Chase native Jake Shapiro, the war in Gaza is more than just a historic conflict. It's a personal one, too.
And so I feel scared as a Jewish person and defensive, and also as someone that understands the Palestinian side and has many close Palestinian friends. It's really, you know, getting torn apart in two directions.
Shapiro lives and works in Tel Aviv, Israel. He spent the last 5 years helping build peace, bringing together young Israeli and Palestinian people through technology building and dialogue.
Folks living over there, mostly they grow up only knowing one side of the picture, that their side is right, that their side is good, that the other side is bad.
It's a narrative he and his colleagues have been fighting to break. Now, the message is as important as ever.
So the first thing that really has to happen is humanization. We need to end this conflict because I don't want my children to die.
Shapiro says unless we want violence to lead to another genocide, creating peace is the only way forward.
It leaves us with only one strategy, which is engagement.
He's encouraging people to talk to one another instead of just posting on social media, finding compassion through common ground.
I would want the world to know that people are still talking. We don't know what the world will look like on the day after. It gives me just a tiny bit of hope to know that there are these Israelis and Palestinians who will be there when the dust settles.
And Shapiro plans to return to Israel as soon as he's able to do so. Chris and Tasmin, he says peace won't be easy, but there is a responsibility to keep trying. In studio, I'm Mariel Carbone, DC News Now.
Mariel, thank you. We have continuing coverage of the conflict. Stay with us both on air and online at DCNewsNow.com for the very latest.
And happening right now, U.S. Marshals are now searching for the second suspect in October 3rd mass shooting at Morgan State University. The agency is offering up to $10,000 for the capture of this man, 18-year-old Javon Williams. Williams is also wanted in a federal drug and gun case in D.C. Last week, a 17-year-old suspect was arrested in connection to the Morgan State shooting, which injured 5 people. Now, following the shooting, the university announced plans to build a wall around most of the campus and beef up security around exits and entrances. Now, earlier today, Mayor Bowser responded to comments the Baltimore City State's attorney made about D.C. crime. So in a statement released on Friday, state's attorney wrote this: in the past, D.C. would worry that Baltimore crime would somehow make its way down there, but now it appears D.C. crime has actually come to Baltimore. Now, this came after police confirmed the first suspect who was arrested is from D.C. Mayor Bowser reacted to that statement earlier today. Take a listen.
I don't know that I have a response to that. What I know is almost immediately when law enforcement officials put out those pictures, the suspect individuals were identified.
Yeah, so the mayor also says that her office will review the D.C. Council's proposed police reform legislation.
And Bowie State University students are back in the classroom 9 days after 2 people were shot on their campus. Students were given a week off to deal with mental health following the shooting. In response to the shooting, starting this week, school gates and checkpoints will have new, stricter guidelines for letting people onto campus, and they'll be patrolled 24 hours a day. On top of that, there's also an updated campus alert system. Students we spoke with say seeing the university take these actions so quickly is comforting as they return to class.
It definitely makes me feel safer, I'll say that. Having these checks, making sure that we are aware of who's actually on campus, I think it's for the better.
The university is also considering other security measures, including AI weapons detectors and metal detectors in dorms. They also plan to upgrade outdoor lighting and add more license plate readers throughout campus.
All right, so after 3 years of being closed, the historic Whites Ferry reopening remains at a standstill.
Yeah, tonight Montgomery County leaders talked with its landowners about what the impact the ferry has had on people who rely on it as a means of transportation and what it might take to reopen it.
Our Michaela Newton gives us an update.
Right now, if you visit the historic Whites Ferry, you won't see many people out, but talks are in the works to reopen the long-term mode of transportation. The historic Whites Ferry dock is quiet, and it's been that way since December of 2020, when the ferry ceased operation after private landowners in both Maryland and Virginia could not settle a dispute over land. The ferry was established in 1786 and moved cars, bicycles, and people across the Potomac River from Loudoun County, Virginia to Montgomery County, Maryland for decades.
I come down from Brunswick or Point of Rocks down through here, down farther towards Washington, but stop at Whites Ferry frequently.
New owners Chuck and Stacy Kuhn bought the ferry in February of 2021 and have been working with leaders in Maryland and Virginia to reopen it. They now want to sell the ferry to Montgomery County to try and invoke eminent domain to acquire the Virginia site. People rallied at the ferry last year with hopes of it reopening. Montgomery County Council President Evan Glass says the county wants to come to an agreement.
Up until it stopped its service, there were nearly 800 trips every single day, getting people to work, to shopping, to visiting family. And it also provided relief for meeting our climate goals, because now that it's been closed, people have had to drive dozens and dozens of miles out of their way every single day to meet their daily needs.
The county is working on a solution with the landholders. We reached out to property owners, but we didn't hear back. The county council is set to speak about it again in an upcoming hearing. Reporting in Montgomery County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for DC News Now.
All right, let's get a first check on the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb.
Yeah, Janessa, we got a cool Monday night.
Yeah, if you've been outside, I was like, wow, the chill is definitely in the air. Feels very much like fall. Going to continue to be that way for the next couple of days before a surge of some warmer air starts to make its way back in. Live look out toward Hagerstown right now. A pretty lovely evening. We were tracking a few spot showers a few hours ago. Right now, things have started to die down. If you're across the suburbs of our nation's capital, 56 partly cloudy conditions, watching that northwesterly breeze 7 to 10 miles per hour. So that's going to keep us quite cool out there. It's pretty noticeable wind flow that continues to make its way in. We do have a slight disturbance out towards areas of Canada, Nova Scotia, and with that counterclockwise spin, it is allowing for some moisture right now. Luray into the Woodstock area, very light in nature, so just a stray shower. The rest of us, all of this that you're seeing in Leesburg to the Ashburn area, that's just ground clutter from our radar beam. Most of us are sitting under partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Winds continue to pick up for Winchester area into sections of Loudoun County. The rest of us are on the calmer side and really going to be calm as we go into the start of your Tuesday as well. Here's what you're going to wake up to around 6, 7 a.m. We're still into the lower 40s for Woodstock, into Winchester. It is a little bit warmer tonight for DC metro areas, into Anne Arundel County and Baltimore County as well, into the upper 40s. Folks, we have another chilly day in store for your Tuesday before rain and actually a warm-up starts to enter our region. I'll show you when coming up.
All right, Janessa, thanks. We'll see you then. DC News Now is your local election headquarters. Virginia residents, all right, listen up. Today is the last day you can register to vote in Virginia for the November 7th election. You have until 11:59 tonight to do so. But if you miss a deadline, don't worry. You can still vote using a provisional ballot the day of election. You can register to vote right now by going to the Virginia Department of Elections website. Now, some other dates to keep in mind. October 27th is the deadline to request a mail-in absentee ballot. November 4th, the last day of in-person early voting, and November 7th is Election Day.
So with the big day less than a month away, it's important to know why this election is so crucial, right? So to start, with all 140 seats in the Virginia General Assembly up for grabs, party control of the Commonwealth will come down to just a handful of the House and Senate races. And the Republican Party could potentially take control of both chambers with a Republican governor at the head. Now, speaking of governor, this election is a make or break for Governor Glenn Youngkin's future in politics. Not only will it allow him to pass his party's legislation in the state, but it could also determine whether or not Youngkin decides to run for the Republican primary for the 2024 presidential election. Now, be sure to stay with us, your local election headquarters, for any updates.